426 credit score. I walk into CarMax to get a Honda Accord. They politely laugh me out. You're black, you're supposed to have bad credit. Like, that was a common thing in the household for us. Like, you hear that and it's a joke, but like, that was really the case. I realized that I needed credit and I couldn't have a vehicle. Like, that was probably the lowest point. I'm at work, I'm listening to the Social Proof podcast every single day. I'm on the forklift unloading these trucks. And then I'm like, especially whenever you pay by hour, you can only go so far. What I mean by that is only 24 hours in a day. You can't work 24 hours. It has to be more to life than this. Whenever I get that smile and people just come up and say, listen, man, like, you helped me be able to pay a bill from my credit card reward points and things like that, because it's not always about the $1 million. Sometimes it's just being able to figure out how you're gonna get your groceries for free. What you don't want to do is give someone access to credit and they're not ready to receive that information or ready to receive their first $50,000 credit card. Make sure you have a strategy with it, because I've seen many people in our communities get access to this and they're in a way worse situation. My slogan has been everybody eats since I came in, even when I first started entrepreneurship. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I just knew I needed to fix my credit. And once I fixed my credit, I knew I needed access to more money to be able to fund the deals and different things.
Welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast, man. We find experts in spaces so that you can get the game that you need, okay? And we're about a really important conversation. The gentleman that is on the couch today, the last episode was so fire. And that little American Express play you put me on, oh, bruh, it was game-changing.
For sure.
Game-changing. I was able to liquidate my points, put it in the market, and been running some options plays. This one option up today.
Let's talk.
It's going crazy. Dub Washington is here. He's back. What's up, my brother? How you feeling?
I'm blessed. God is amazing, man.
That's a fact.
For sure.
Why do you say that? God is amazing.
Man, we going there first.
You said it.
Let's get it, man. He's amazing just from the overall perspective that he allows us to have in the realm of like everything that's going on. So whenever you realize it's more than like how you move, is more than a purpose behind it. Figure out your purpose and you'll understand why I got this glow, bro. Like, I'm operating my purpose.
I thought it was just good soap because your face, man, you got some skin on you, my brother.
I appreciate it.
But when you talk about purpose, how are you defining purpose? And was there a point where you realized, yo, I think I'm purposed to do this?
My slogan has been everybody eats since I came in, even when I first started entrepreneurship. But whenever you find your purpose, like, first I should do it for myself. And then I realized like the impact that I could make on other people's lives. Like, entrepreneurs never really talk about it in that aspect, but sometimes that's more important than the money. Sometimes. Because whenever you get people that comes up to you at the airport and be like, bro, just like you told me, bro, like, you showed me how to travel for free. My family has never experienced these things. And we're teaching them how to have an impact, not only for themselves, but to show other people what's possible. I felt like I was operating in my purpose. So whenever I get that smile and people just come up and say, listen, man, like, you helped me be able to pay a bill from my credit card reward points and things like that, because it's not always about the $1 million. Sometimes it's just being able to figure out how you're going to get your groceries for free. You see what I'm saying? So
get your groceries for free.
Come on, yeah.
We'll talk about that today, because I'm getting cooked on. Bro, I got 3 kids, and they're babies. How y'all eat this much, bro? Like, listen, it's ridiculous.
Yes.
So, okay. Yes, so I definitely want to understand that. So we'll go through a couple things. One, understanding how to build a financial profile, because a lot of people are struggling, bro.
For sure.
You always understood money like this?
Absolutely not. Not always.
Lowest point of your life financially, when was it?
2016, 426 credit score. Go into CarMax.
426?
I didn't think it go that low, Dave. Yeah. 426 credit score. I walk into CarMax to get a Honda Accord, and whenever I go in to get a Honda Accord, like, they politely laugh me out. Like, what could you get approved for with 426 credit score? I had about $3,000-$4,000. I thought I was gonna go in there and put the down payment down, but moral of the story, that was probably my lowest point financially.
How did you get there though?
And irresponsible behavior, not paying your bills on time, assuming that our ethnic group, you're black, you're supposed to have bad credit. Like, that was a common thing in the household for us. Like, you hear that and it's a joke, but like, that was really the case. Like, you operate off of buy here, pay here. Everything's operating under the table with cash, so on and so forth. But whenever I realized that I needed credit and I couldn't have a vehicle, like, that was probably the lowest point.
So when you were coming up, what was the lessons around credit, or was there?
There was no lessons that, like, I didn't know this. I didn't know anything about credit until I needed it whenever I was trying to go and get the Honda Accord from CarMax.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, nobody ever really talked about it.
Yeah, I remember being on campus. I went to Alabama A&M, and there was a company there. I think it was MasterCard. They're just on campus, and they're like, "Y'all can get a credit card." And I'm like, I didn't even know what a credit card was at that time, which says something, right?
Right.
A grown man, 18 years old, and I don't really understand what credit card means. So when they say, yo, we'll approve you for $300. And I'm like, when you say approve me, what do you mean? Well, you'll get a card and you can use the money. I said, when can I use the money? Today, once you get approved, you just take the card and you're good. All I heard, bruh, was I'll get $300 today. And nobody told, bruh, this has to be predatory. Why would you be on a college campus, first off, giving kids credit cards when they don't even understand what credit is? And I don't know if that's just HBCUs or you're going to an area where you know these people are not, I'm not saying HBCUs are financially illiterate, but I don't know if they're targeting us.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
I'm with you.
So why would you give me a card when I'm telling you I don't even understand it? And all I hear is 300. Friday will be here in no time. It's up. We outside. You feel me?
I feel you.
So like, as you have 3 children.
Absolutely.
Are you teaching this stuff now?
Not now. I'm teaching them how to count dimes and nickels because we're their age of 6, 5, and 2 years old. So it's very, very introductory for them as far as just like learning how to count. You know, that's one of the most important things. But as far as like diving deep, I have not started teaching them, but they're going to be structured just from the knowledge that, you know, we get access to in our community.
Yeah, my daughter knows what my daughter, she's 4. She knows what $1 is. She knows what a 5 is. And last night, bro, we're in a magazine, and she's like, I'm getting this for my birthday, and this, and this, and this. And I'm sitting there smiling, but then I realized, yo, something's happening here.
I see where you're going with this.
When does that stop? You're 4. Saying, I'm going to get this, and this, and this, and this. And if I don't pull back, say, hey, honey, how are we going to buy this? A simple question to a 4-year-old. She's like, well, the money. I'm like, well, honey, how are we going to get the money? And we think a 4-year-old can't comprehend, or you can't have that type of conversation, but there are seeds being planted instead of saying we are going to be shoppers. And we think it's cute, right? So I think these are more the conversations we need to have with small kids.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So so just walk me up to where it clicked. Like, yo, I don't want to be poor for the rest of my life.
So we spoke about in the previous podcast. I'm at work. I'm listening to the Social Proof podcast every single day. I'm on the forklift unloading these trucks. And then I'm like, you can only go so far, especially whenever you pay by hour, you can only go so far. What I mean by that is only 24 hours in a day. You can't work 24 hours. You'll crash out, literally. So the moment that it hit for me was like, it has to be more to life than this, because once again, like I said on the previous episode, it's presence over presence. Presence with the CE on the end for my kids is the single most important thing that you will ever be able to give your child. We hustle for the money. We want to provide a great lifestyle, but you would never want to get on the end and say, I wish that I would have missed out on that time to make this money. You will never say that you regret. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, you'll never get to that point. But once again, on the flip side, you can say like, man, I took that deal, or I had this time away from this baseball game, football game, and then you will regret that no matter how much money was attached to it. Yeah.
And you're down, obviously, because your credit score is 4 something. How do we start digging ourselves out of a hole? Because somebody's here, they're in a hole, right? And you're going to talk about some progressive stuff today,
correct?
Right? Yo, how you can start making money, and how you can build out, things of that nature. But there's somebody that's like, yo, I'm so far behind. But I'm glad you're here because you were far behind.
Yes, sir.
What were the steps that we started taking?
Just the overall knowledge of credit. Because what you don't want to do is give someone access to credit and they're not ready to receive that information or ready to receive their first $50,000 credit card. So the steps is
And you teach people how to do that.
Oh, for sure.
Whether they're ready or not.
Yeah.
Like they'll get their, like, you listening to you, they'll get the game.
For sure.
Yeah.
So it was just, like I say, starting with the knowledge, to start digging out, to say, okay, I don't want to be back in this position, because like whenever I went to, this is a real story. My wife gonna kill me for telling this story. This is a real story. So me and my wife, we were together. We were boyfriend and girlfriend at the time. We go and we say, hey, we want to open up a bank account, and we're going to put both of our names on it. She said, okay, well, I'm already been with Bank of America. I've been with them for years. I'm just going to add you on the account. I'm like, okay. I'm in college. Like, you know what happened? The overdraft. You can take an overdraft on on a debit card, and then you don't pay it back. So I knew that I owed them money. She went in and she put me on the account, and the guy was like, well, we can't add you here. I'm like, I know what happened. I try to act confused. And he say, well, it shows that you owe the bank money, but we don't know the amount. And right then and there, that was so embarrassing. Because you got to think, like, we're together as boyfriend and girl. We trying to build and grow. And that point right there was like, that was one of the moments I was like, man, I have to get this together. Cause
she's dating a bum.
Yeah, that's exactly what you feel.
Bro,
like.
If that was a movie and they were recording, the whole movie theater is like, oh, girl, this ain't the one. This right is here.
Real. Yes. So that was one of the key moments that made me say, okay, I have to start understanding how to build credit, because I'm trying to essentially build with my queen. We want to go and get a house. We want to start a family, things like that. You can't, I'm not going to say you can't, but it's very difficult to do that with no credit.
Got it. So let's not assume that the audience knows how to take the first step. What is it, before we get into the really accelerator stuff, what do I do today? Okay, I can't get a credit card. I can't open up a bank account. I can't get any more credit cards. What am I supposed to do right now?
First off, just understanding what credit is made of, the difference of types of funding or capital that you can get. You can get a loan, you can get a credit card, line of credit, so on and so forth. But just understanding there's different types depending on whatever you're trying to do. If you're in real estate, or if you desire to get into real estate eventually, you need to start building out, let's just say, your FICO 9 score, which is pretty much predicated upon the installment lines on your profile. So how do you start that? I'll take out a small secured loan, pledge loan, like people do with Navy Federal, a lot of the credit unions.
What is that?
It's a secured loan to where you use your capital against it. So you're pledging your own money. Open up a savings account with $500.
I had one of those with Wells Fargo.
So
it was a credit card, but I had to give them the $500.
So that's a secured credit card, but you can do it differently. It's called a secured loan. So you have a loan, and then you pay off 99% of it, which shows great payment index, great payment history on it, and then it's your money that you're pledging against, and you should start that way.
Got it.
So after the knowledge, let's start adding some quality. Let's not add rent reporters and things like that, because it's not helping you in the long run.
But what do we do with all the baggage though? Like all the past mistakes. Our credit score is the way it is because we owe somebody something.
For sure. So I would say, and a lot of the credit people are going to kill me for this. If it's a small amount, right? And I want to look at the camera when I say this. If it's a small amount, make sure you make it right with the bank, meaning that you get a pay for delete. A lot of people say, why would you ever pay a collections? If you can get a pay for delete and it's only $200-$300, go ahead and pay that to get it off your credit. Therefore, you're not waiting 6 or 7 months for $200 to be removed off your credit.
Hold on. What's pay for delete mean?
Pay for delete means that you pay the bank, or you pay the debt collection company, and then they remove it off of your credit, versus trying to hire someone to get it removed off your credit. And it may take 6 months. It may take a year. And you're paying $100 a month, $200 a month.
So there are people, I do see that, but it always seemed like scammy to me a little bit. Like, yo, you pay me some money and I'll get it deleted. How do you get it deleted when I owe this person? How does that work?
It's a mixture of consumer law and like Metro 2 compliance, but it's primarily based off the rights that you have as a consumer. Over, I would say 85 to 90% of credit reports have an inaccuracy on it. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 15 USC 1681, some form of law like that. It says that credit reports must be 100% accurate. So you can just literally go and dispute accuracy on a credit report to start getting things removed by using the laws as a consumer.
Oh, so it's not scammy?
No, it's not.
Okay. But it's the shortcut of not just paying it off. So if I owe $300, I might just have someone get that. Like, let's just report all this stuff, and eventually it falls off because something's not accurate.
Eventually, or they can speed it up and say, hey, I want to dispute it using consumer law. And then, the bureaus are not going to go back and forth with you long. They'll delete it off your reports.
Okay. Hey, my credit friends, no disrespect. I didn't know. You know what I mean? I just thought it was a little, you just get it taken off. But I understand now. Okay. I got you. So if it's a small amount, let me just pay it off.
I would say so.
But why do people say you shouldn't do that?
Because once again, if you're not getting a pay for delete, what ends up happening is you get a paid off collections, which shows that you had an account in collections, and it actually hurts your credit report. So as long as you can get a pay for delete on a small amount, I would say why waste the time if you can't get it removed. You see what I'm saying? If you don't have the money, by all means, go consumer law route. But if you can't get it removed, sometimes it's best to, instead of waiting 6-7 months, let me go ahead and get it right. And then in 30 days, I can start building my profile.
Got it. Okay. And you said if it's a small amount, do that, which indicates there's another strategy for a big amount.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, there's many strategies out there.
So talk to me about the strategies for. And every time I hear these types of conversations, I get so nervous because I'm like, oh
man,
it got to be right, bruh.
Yes, for sure.
And legal.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so talk to me about the options of if it's a large amount.
So if it's a large amount, I would say do the consumer law route. Try to go about, and it's a lot of people that does it on the internet. I'm not gonna say any names because you never know what people have going on, but for sure. And some people go to sue the bureaus. So you can literally sue for inaccuracy reporting on your consumer profile. And that's whenever you get to the big amounts, the bureaus are not gonna go. You know how many disputes they get daily?
Even if it's your fault, bro. Like, I bought this car, I did not pay for it.
Welcome to the land of America.
Huh.
I mean, yeah.
Huh. So if I owe $30,000 and there's an inaccuracy on my profile, you can dispute, and after that dispute, they may take it off because something misspelled or something.
For sure, it could be the name could be off.
Really,
the address associated with it could be off. Listen. The last digit on the account number could be off because consumer law says it must be 100% accurate, not 99. Now, a lot of times they'll go back and update it, but you can get removals from a consumer report from the lack of 100% accuracy.
But there has to be a way around that, though, because I know these companies, they know the game. And I think at this point, they got to be smart enough to know, like, bruh, you can just go around this for inaccuracy.
Man, I'm about to give you some game, Dave. So, all right, let's take it from the top, right? Because I was beating around the bush. So you're a great interviewer. You're a great interviewer, bro. So let's take it from the top. What you want to do first is kind of have a paper trail. So they send you a debt collection letter. Dave, you owe $30,000 for this collection account. You then respond and say, I want you to validate the debt. They then say that they validate the debt from the secondary consumer reporting agencies, LexisNexis, Innovis, SageStream, ARS, CoreLogic, so on and so forth, which they're not housing the information. The secondary bureaus are housing the information. So when you get paperwork to say that, hey, I want you to validate this, they're not taking the time to go and validate it. So then they send you a letter back in the mail and said they validated it. You got paperwork right there to use in court against them because as you have laws as a consumer that's in your favor, they're supposed to follow the chain of command. They typically don't do that. So now what happens is you got paperwork on them. So let's just say that they then go back and you say, no, you said you validated it. Where did you validate it from? You have opted out of the secondary consumer reporting agencies, which house the information on the account. Because whenever you owe Bank of America or you owe any bank in particular, they do a charge off. Meaning they sell it to the debt collection company for pennies on a dollar. Now the debt collection company is telling you, hey, even if they paid $300 for this $30,000 debt, they say, hey, if you pay me $15,000, we'll get it off of your credit. You made me go down that rabbit hole, Dave. I didn't.
Wow.
So that's typically the starting phase. So what you do whenever you're disputing with consumer law is you trap them into a corner because they said they validated it. Now they're going to try to go and update. You say, no. Where did you validate it from? You got them right there. Now, if you need to go to court with that paperwork, You got them.
It seems like this trick has been used for a very long time, and it seems like the banks that are companies will get smarter and start tightening up their processes and systems. Is it now harder today than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago?
It is harder today, but you got to think, Dave. Think about the percentage of people that even know about this.
That even go through this process.
They even go through the process. Yeah. They say, hey, we're in biblical times, so in 7 years it's going to fall off anyway. Some people wait 7 years versus waiting 70 days.
7 years, it falls off.
7 years, it falls off your credit.
Here's the thing, and we're going to get into more stuff, but this is something that I'll understand, because I think I've had some stuff that didn't just fall off in 7 years. Mm-hmm. Are they like updating it or something like that?
They can go and update it based on a response that you have to them. So sometimes it'll be outside of the statute of limitations.
So if you respond,
come on,
we start the clock over.
Absolutely.
So if something's been on your credit for the last 6 years, just don't call these people.
Do not. Why would you? You only have another year left.
I didn't know that. So sometimes we get this information like, you know what? I'm going to get right, man. I'm going to contact these people and all that kind of stuff. And then the clock starts over.
Yep. Based on you contacting them. And you could be 6.5 years. You could be at 6 years and 9 months. And then all of a sudden you have 3 months left and it's going to, by law, fall off. All collection accounts, they fall off in 7. You get a fresh start every 7 years. Bankruptcy, so on and so forth, right? It falls off, but then you update it and then the time starts over. Most people don't know this, though.
Somebody's watching this right now and they are sick. Because they just called. They get their life together. They got, you know what I mean? They try to like get right back on the right track. Or I'm engaged to somebody and the woman says, you need to get your credit right. And you're like, all right, you know what? I'm going to pull my report. I'm going to call these people. And then the clock starts over.
That just hurt.
Dang. Okay. I think there's enough information on the internet for people to understand how to start going on their path of fixing their credit.
For sure.
Now let's talk about acceleration. Before we get there, what is your philosophy on making money? Because just because you clean up your credit doesn't mean you deserve 40, 50,000, 30,000, because you don't know how to make the money to pay for the money you're about to use. So what's your philosophy on earning income?
Before you go out and access the capital, make sure you have a strategy with it, because I've seen many people in our communities get access to this and they in a way worse situation. So my philosophy of making money is like, do something that you enjoy, but if you're not making money off of it, then it's okay to switch and pivot and go to another path. Too often times we want to stick, I want to be a content creator, or I want to start my podcast, right? I want to do these different things. If that's not working for you, then you have another avenue. Not everybody is meant to do podcasting. Nobody can compete with David Shanes when it comes to podcasting. You see what I'm saying? So why would someone else try to go and I'm not saying other people can't be successful, but learn how to pivot. That's one of the things entrepreneurship that you must master, is how to pivot.
Right. Somebody was like, yo, I'm about to get approved for some funding so that I can buy some podcast equipment. I said, please don't do that. Because podcasting, the money, it's not, the direct money from podcasting comes very slow. This is why I teach entrepreneurs that we need to use podcasting as a marketing arm for an actual business. Now, if the actual business, you have a plan like you're saying, well, okay, you can get some funding to fund this business because this business is going to make money. But I had to stop people. I'd be 100% honest. Don't do that. I'd rather you shoot a podcast with your cell phone first because you don't know how this works yet. You know what I mean? You don't know how to make no money. So what you're saying is we need to get we need to have a plan for the money of how we're going to get the money back.
For sure. And now let's take it a step further. Is whenever I say have a plan for the money, you can get money to build future relationships.
Explain that.
I can go and get access to a $50,000 business credit card. And then I could take that $50,000 to go and build other banking relationships. So just like you liquidated from the points that you got on your Amex card, you could then take those points to say, hey, I'm going to cash these points out and I'm going to go and build a deposit relationship with Synovus. I'm going to build a deposit relationship with PNC, Wells Fargo. So if you don't have a plan as far as a business revenue generating income stream, what you can do is take the capital or funding and then say, hey, I know that this bank offers great lines of credit. I'm in real estate. I know I need to be able to have consistent draws to be able to draw the money without having to go through the means of liquidating, how can I go and get access to more capital? Okay, you're not already polished in the real estate area. So what you can do is take that money. Okay, I want to build out with PNC. I want to build out with Wells Fargo. I want to build out with Citizens Bank. So all you're doing is structuring a future relationship, and you planted a seed that wasn't your money in the beginning.
Hold on, bro.
So
I get approved for $50,000.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to understand what you're saying. How do I use that $50,000 to build a relationship with somebody else?
So it's banks that offer liquidation services, and they charge you a percentage on it. So if you get $50,000, they may charge you 3 to 4% to liquidate for you, meaning that they're having a business model out of this. Mm. Now
so you're paying the 3 to 4%.
You paying 3 to 4% to get access to the capital.
Okay.
Now you take the capital, the liquid capital, and you say, hey, I want to go and build a relationship with Wells Fargo. You don't need $50,000 in the account. You can start a deposit relationship with $1,000 a week. Then you could do the same exact thing with, and listen, it goes a step further because you got to understand whichever credit bureau is your highest. Wells Fargo typically pull from Experian. Truist typically pulls from Equifax. American Express or Chase typically pulls from Experian. And then you got Barclays. Certain institutions are going to typically pull from TransUnion. So whichever bureau is the highest, you take this money and you go and structure your funding sequence. And it's not even your money. So now remember, we were just talking about no doc funding is getting very difficult to get. If you go and build a deposit relationship with money that's not yours, that you liquidated from the credit card, guess what? Dave's podcast is now generating $1,000 a week, $2,000 a week. Now they can use those documents to give you access to more money. So if you don't know what you want to do and you already have, let's just say your EIN, you don't know where you want to take it, you can just build with different institutions. Now they have documents.
So start building so that when you do need that that funding, you may have, through this process, open up a line for $200,000 based off the $50,000. But just so that I understand this, let's say I get approved for $50,000 credit card or something like that. You're saying if I liquidate it, it's going to cost me about 3%.
3 to 4%. Now,
okay. Let's just use 3%. That's $1,500. I owe $1,500. I'm going to take the, I guess, what is that? $48,500 and then start building a relationship. But that $1,500, I owe that. What is approximately the monthly that I have to pay on? Because that's an expense.
Yes.
Right? It's a business expense. Now, it's small in terms of what you're going to build from it, but what would something like, what's the carrying cost of that $1,500?
So whenever you have 0% interest, because I highly recommend to do this with 0% interest business credit cards. I probably should have started there because 0% meaning that whenever you liquidate it in 30 days, you're not going to be paying interest on it. So if you liquidate the $50,000, you will have a minimum payment of $500. But now the $1,500 that you owe, more than likely you're going to get a sign-up bonus. So they'll tell you, hey, if you spend X amount, we'll give you X amount of points.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I missed something about the $500 in the $50,000.
So
something.
It's a percentage of, we call it service, right? Service money. It's a percentage of the actual balance that you're carrying. And because there's no interest tied to it, if you liquidate $50,000, you'll have to pay $500, a minimum payment. So it's about 1% of the total balance when there's no interest attached to it.
Is that on top of the 3 to 4%, or that's like mixed in there?
No, so the 3 to 4% will go to the liquidation company. So whoever you to liquidate for you. So they already got the 3 to 4% of that. Yep. Now the balance is due on the credit card because you took the $50,000. You owe $50,000, and 1% of that would be $500 payment, minimum payment.
I see. I see. Yep.
Let's take it this way, Dave. What most people make the mistake of, they're going to take the entire $50,000, set about 15 to 20% to the side in their checking account, have automatic draws for the minimum payment to the $50,000. So you could set about $10,000, $12,500, somewhere around that area just to cover it. Now you having a draw every single month come from there, and now you're operating with not $50,000. You're probably operating around $35,000 now.
Got it. This takes maturity.
Oh, for sure.
This takes maturity, and this takes education. Like, because I think the way people will be placing it online is, you get the 50,000, you take the 50,000, put it in there, but we're not calculating these numbers. And that's why I'm so glad you're here, bro. Because one, you've helped me, and obviously you help a bunch of people with, let's just put it all on the table. Like, this is, okay, you're going to pay 3 to 4%.
Mm-hmm.
You owe this car company $50,000 first off of $48.50 that you got.
Mm-hmm.
You still got to pay this $500,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to pay the payments of a $50,000 note.
Yes.
But I like the strategy where you're saying, okay, let's take some money
Mm-hmm.
so that we can pay that off.
The service money.
The service money. And I think this still requires some sort of income, right? I mean, from your job, you want to start paying some of this with your job's income, or are we just using that money we set aside?
So, depending, and that's a great question, depending on your strategy, because at the end of the day, you have 50,000, you're making a minimum payment, which the service money is set to the side for that, but you still have the liquid capital.
Yeah.
If all else fails, you technically lost $1,500, but you may have got a sign-up bonus whenever you first got this credit card. So they'll tell you, hey, if you spend $10,000, we'll give you 50,000 points. Equates to about $500. So you could even use some of your sign-up bonus to recoup that. But if all else fails, what do you have? You have a relationship that you have built out with another institution. So let's say you give Bank A their money back. Bank B has now seen that you have deposited money on a consistent basis into their institution. Now they want to give Dave at least $10,000, $20,000.
I like this.
It's strategy, man.
You gotta have strategy, bro. This is the conversations nobody's having though.
Yeah.
Cause you've seen it online, right?
Yeah.
Yo, I got this person approved for 50 grand, and they're telling them to play, but not telling all the details about it. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, would you recommend? So let's say I get approved for this $50,000 card. Before I go through this process, we need to have a path to make some money.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So do we wait until we have the plan to even get approved for the 50, or do we wait till we have the plan after we get approved for the 50 before we move the money over?
I would say that you don't want to have a plan with no capital. What good is it?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
I think it's valuable to have a plan without capital, though.
You think so?
Yeah.
How would you fund it? So most people in our communities, they have amazing ideas. We're the most creative people in the world, right? But the reason why a lot of us are not successful is because we don't have the capital behind it to fund the plan. So if you have no plan, but you build out this foundation where you say, hey, once I get the plan, I already have 50,000 set to the side to invest into it.
Right. So I feel that. But I'm saying before you move the money, before you liquidate and start the clock of having to pay out this money, it's like, yo, let's get approved for the money. Let's fix our credit, get approved for the money. Even if the credit card just sits there, at least we can get the money, start figuring out what we're going to do with it, and then we can figure out how much money we need to move. Because you might not even need the whole 50 grand.
That's true.
You might liquidate 10.
Yeah, that's
say,
true.
Okay, I could do something with this.
The 0% clocks at the time of approval. So if I get 0% interest on a business credit card for 12 months, if we're approved at the time of the shooting, November, and what ends up happening is November 2026 come, they don't care if we didn't use it for 6 months. They gave us an introductory phase of 12 months at 0%. So before you even get approved for it, kind of understand what you want to do. But this is a strategy that I kind of leverage for myself. Is like, I didn't know that I wanted to be really big into the coaching space. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I just knew I needed to fix my credit. And once I fixed my credit, I knew I needed access to more money to be able to fund the deals and different things.
Give me an example of someone that you work with where this plan worked out the way you said it.
So I have 4 other mentees outside of myself who has leveraged this strategy to get access to over $1 million in funding. Whoa. So I have 4 other mentees. I got about almost 400 mentees, right, in my higher ticket program. Yeah. And I got 4 now. My brother Memory Doc, my other guy Josh, and I can't remember the 2 other guys' names. It's been so long since they've been kind of tapped into the group. But they leveraged the same exact strategy, but it wasn't a 6 month, it wasn't a 1 year type situation. You see what I'm saying? It was a 2 year, type situation where we built out with multiple institutions with this deposit relationship strategy, so on and so forth.
And then they ended up with $1 million.
Yes,
funding.
from personal and business credit. Yes.
That's pretty dope too, because if you got 2 years of going through this process, you're obviously learning, and you kind of know what to do with this bread now.
Yeah, and then because you're moving with it, you're structuring other funding rounds. So whenever we get access to, let's say, 100,000, set 30,000 to the side. You can invest 70, set 30,000 to the side to build your next 0% APR phase. Because whenever that 0% interest runs out, you're paying interest on this money. So if you get 100, take 30 to go and build with 2 to 3 other institutions. So whenever this ends, you now have some wiggle room to get some 0% money, so you're not panicking or that you're not drowning in interest.
Got it.
And you're just stacking.
And give me an example of something that they did with the money, with the funding.
So Josh, he started a solar business down there in Texas. So he's doing, I think he says he's doing a little bit over $2 million a year. He's been able to scale it a lot. My other guy, James, Memory Doc, he trades options. So he's a little bit more riskier with it. I'm like, man, I tried the option stuff and it wasn't friendly to me. So. But those, like I said, those are the primary two that's very active in the community. I think the other guys, you kind of went and started their real estate portfolio, so on and so forth.
The person who did the solar company, what was he doing when you met him?
I want to say, I can't remember where he was working, but I know that he was working. Nice family man out there in Texas. I can't remember where he was working at, but he came in. I already had access to a little bit of capital. I'm not going to take full credit for the entire, like, 2-point-something million, but yeah, he already had a little bit, but he was like, man, just understanding how the banking system works. He's like, I've been able to fast track what took me years and years to do.
Dang, so working somewhere, it's a business running $2 million a year. That's
yeah, for sure.
It's not too shabby.
Not bad at all.
And I think we do need access to capital, bro. And obviously, that's how certain cultures have gotten ahead so fast, because we didn't always have access to capital.
That's true.
And we didn't always have access to even housing to be able to get approved for a house that's going to build some equity. That's access to capital as well, and we just didn't have it for a long time. So that's why I believe this information is so important. You know what I mean? Because we just don't know how money works. In the day and age that we're at right now, what are some of the biggest hurdles, or what's happening in the space right now for people in the funding, credit? What's happening?
Banks have now went to revenue-based lending, meaning that when people tell you, hey, you have an 800 plus credit score, 750 plus credit score, you can come in here and get access with just on the premise of good faith. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're going to pay the money back. But now, because of the default rate, it has increased at a lot of the major institutions, they're now having to switch up the underwriting. So they're going to like revenue-based underwriting. So you can still get access to capital. Like, you can still go and get $10,000 from an institution, $20,000, which is, I mean, it's not a lot as you start to scale, because you can only do so much with 10,000. And whenever you want to get the maximum exposure, which I highly encourage us to always go for, then there's going to require documentation. So max exposure is whenever I walk into Navy Federal and I apply for a personal credit card, I know that the max exposure is $80,000. If you give me $10,000 and I've structured a deposit relationship with you, I have a great credit profile, over 700 credit score, 750 credit score, why is my limit so low? So just knowing the max exposure at certain institutions lets you know what to expect from them. You get $10,000 from Bank of America, that's a fairly good limit starting off. Now with Chase, Navy Federal, American Express, you're like, come on, like, I know you can up this.
Yeah. So you have to have income to get the money.
The max exposure.
The max exposure. So someone who doesn't have income right now, is there a reason they need to even call you or DM you? Like, I ain't got no income, I just want to get some funding.
The $50,000 play. So
how am I going to get that if
that is true? So you can start with personal credit, right? And we build out the comparables. So sometimes banks will lend to you, and that's business funding that we're talking to in particular. But if you're trying to get personal credit, banks will lend to you based on your borrowing behavior. That's why we go and put up, like I say, the secured loans, the pledge loans. That's why we go to the tier 1 banks, because if American Express gave you $2,500, that says a lot about you. But if Kovo gave you an upgrade, and no, just because you may get some money from them, but if Kovo and upgrade gives you that, it doesn't really mean so much.
Who is Kovo? Who's upgrade?
It's a credit. These are credit builders, and you can get with low credit scores. They'll give you access to 5,000, 10,000, but the interest rate is 800%. Not literally, but there's about 40-50% interest rate on these credit cards. But some people take them because they don't understand. Listen, we build with quality, not quantity.
40-50% on a credit card?
You see what I'm saying? That's called predatory lending.
That's predatory, bruh.
But you know how many people in our community take it because they don't know or they don't have any other options.
Yeah, I mean,
when you know better, like my wife says, like whenever you know better, you do better. I
mean, in that case, what do you do though? I mean, what else you gonna do?
I mean, I don't recommend to take it, but if you have a strategy to at least make 45%.
I'm with that. Yeah, it reminds me of a time, bro. I don't know if you ever did a buy here, pay here.
Nah, my family did. Like, I know all about it.
Bro, that was the most expensive $500 I ever had in my life.
You remember the rent your rims? You remember that?
I remember that.
You remember that?
But it's probably, I remember taking $500 from this place.
Mm-hmm.
I probably paid $3,000-$4,000 for that $500. What was the movie with Keke Palmer and SZA? What's that movie? You see that? That place is real. That place is. Yes, bro. He's like, yo, get out of there. But you be in such a bad situation, you don't know no other way to do it.
It's like title loans.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't want to get my car back. But if I don't have the money this month, Cat Williams said something so key in that movie. He said, if you don't have it now, you're not going to have it later. You feel me? But this is when I want to turn the corner to entrepreneurship. So I know you teach funding. Do you also teach how to make money?
That is a great question. Do I teach how to make money? So, in a sense, yes. Creatively, right? Because really, in my opinion, nobody can really teach you how to go and make money because the execution level of certain people are going to be a lot lower.
Yeah.
So one thing that everybody can do is called, is known in the community called churning, right?
Yeah.
So you can literally, as long as you can go and open up checking accounts, you can get creative with it and go and open up, hey, if you deposit $500 here, we'll give you a $500 bonus, right? This is a gem strictly for social proof. But you get access to...
There's a bank that'll give you... double your money?
It's called a checking account bonus. So Wells Fargo and we're not going to say any particular names, but a lot of banks and credit unions will literally give you money for you to come in and open up a checking account with them. You ever heard of a checking account bonus? Hey, if you open up a checking account with us and deposit $500 within the first 60 days, we'll give you $150.
No.
You never heard of checking account bonus?
I've never heard of that.
Yes. It's real.
Why would they do that?
It's because they're incentive. Listen, the banks, most people look at banks as a holding institution whenever it's really a lending institution. So whenever you have more deposits coming in, what are they doing with the deposits?
Oh, they're lending it out.
They're lending it out and charging interest on it. So guess what they're going to do? They're going to give us $100 to deposit $1,000 or $100 to deposit $2,500. And a lot of people will go and say, oh man, I deposit $2,500 because it may not be a lot of money to some people. You getting a free $100. But what they're doing is lending it out to someone else, charging interest on it.
And they're going to get that $100 back from you, like from overdraft fees.
You see what I'm saying?
They're going to get that money.
So they make you open up a checking account with them. And like I was here last time when we talked about how bankers get paid. Mm-hmm. And it was about like how much you spend on the credit card. But they're also paid in proportion to how many checking accounts that you open. So if the deposit inflow is leaving from one institution and going to another, that puts you in better position to lend out money. How do a bank make money? By lending out money, not by holding it. So the more deposits that you have, the more you can lend out. And then once again, they're making a spread off of it.
What's the best credit card?
American Express. Depending on where you're spending, and I jump very fast with American Express. They're the best credit card issuer because they have, no matter what your expertise or what your interests are, they have something to fit you. They have hotels, they have airlines, They have points, they have cash back, so on and so forth. but it's depending on where you spend the majority of your money.
Why is it harder to get an American Express card than it is like a Visa, MasterCard, something like that?
So I wouldn't
Or
say
is it?
I wouldn't say it's harder to get, simply because now American Express is not accepted everywhere because they have higher merchant and transaction fees. So a lot of times, if you have American Express card, they're siding with the customer 100% of the time until it's figured out. Everywhere else is like, they got to do some investigation, so on and so forth. But I wouldn't say that it's harder to get an American Express. It's just like that's the pinnacle of the card. You see what I'm saying? Like that is the platinum card. Mm-hmm. That's what everybody wants for some reason. And if you're not doing a lot of travel, that may not be the best card for you. For some people, a true 3% cashback credit card is the best for them.
Yeah, but it doesn't look as cool.
It don't. Did you get your card yet, bro? Huh? You got your card yet?
Yeah, you talking about the swab?
No, the platinum. You said you was gonna upgrade the mirror.
Oh yeah. So in my app, they were saying that I can get somebody else to get it, but I didn't. Oh, I like that. You just swapped yours out?
Yep, just a design change.
I want this. I want that. Did they charge you for it?
No, it's free.
Because I couldn't find it in my app. Because you were saying do it in the app.
Yeah, we'll get you right.
You always give me a play, bro.
Always, bro.
It just looks good.
It do.
But it seems like American Express, they're not just giving out. You have to have a certain income.
For sure, yeah.
For that type of American Express, but I guess there's lower tiers that you can just get.
Yeah, start off with the cash rewards, the cash magnet, different things like that. Lower tier cards, they great starter cards because it's tiers to everything. Yeah. So yeah.
What is the best single? Oh, but you said it's based on.
It's based on if you're looking for travel points, if you're looking for airline points, if you're looking for cash back, if you're looking for like solely from the limit, so on and so forth. So it depends on the consumer and where they're going to spend majority of their money at, because you don't want to have you listen, outside of travel, you shouldn't be using this card right here because you're only getting 1x on a purchase. So if I use this to put $20,000 into ads, I'm only getting 20,000 points back, versus if I use my gold card, I'm getting 4x the points.
Right. Hold on. I'm not. So travel is the only thing I should be using that for.
Only thing I told you last time, Daylight, bro, you can't use the platinum for everyday purchases because you're only getting 1x cash back. So you're cutting your rewards in half because you could get the blue.
Because I have the gold too, and I just don't use. I mean, it seems like I use the platinum more. But I'm cutting my rewards in half.
You're cutting your rewards in half. So think about this, the 4 million that you had, they could have literally been 8 million if you would have used the cards, paid attention to where you were spending where on what card.
No, I do know the ads with my gold card. I use that specifically.
But going to the grocery store, you could possibly use, if you have the Marriott card, if you have a Hilton card, so on and so forth. At grocery store, they're going to give you, let's just say, elevated offers. So you could get 6 or 7x Marriott points. So then whenever you take the wife and family to the Maldives, like instead of you paying $40,000 for this trip, you could possibly pay maybe $6,000.
Wow. Hey, real quick, now that you are so financially literate, what is the relationship between you and your wife financially?
Meaning, as far as, what do you mean financially? Like,
I mean, what is the one of y'all have to reel one of you in terms of spending, or?
Oh no, my wife would get me all the time. Like, my wife is very frugal. And like a lot of people who know my wife know, like, she don't like, we try to get a nice things, the bags and all these different things, and she's like, no, she don't like if anybody can be able to count her money. So me, I'm the person that's gonna spend most, because like I'm looking at it as if it's free. Yeah. She's looking at it as like, I don't care. That's a bag that costs $4,000. That is stupid. That doesn't make sense. But she once again introduced me to this level because she was more financially literate than me from birth. You know what I'm saying? Until whenever we first met. So yeah. But I took it a step further with learning the credit part. Like she's she's frugal.
I think it was cool too. We were talking before, and you were telling me like where your wife works, and I didn't. Some people see like you and all the things that you're doing and the money that you're making, and you're like, yo, your wife doesn't, your wife wouldn't work. I wouldn't expect your wife to work.
Yeah. Yes. So I got to set a little foundation behind that. My wife is Jamaican. So
Okay.
you already know.
Right.
Like
Sure.
they work.
Yeah.
So that's the starter. But as far as like, coming in and getting access to this information, I was like, listen, one of my goals was to retire my wife, but she's operating her purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like she works in a job to where she's taking care of kids and kids that's, like in foster care, like kids who really need people of a certain magnitude to really understand them, because unfortunate circumstances and things happen all of the time. And, we be like, man, that sucks. And then we don't really do much about it, or we want to throw money at the situation. So she's more of I would say pretty much like a therapist to those type of.
Bruh, when I first told my wife, like she was having some issue at her job and she was like, yo, I want to leave. This is years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, yo, I can't do this anymore. And I was like, yo, you could leave. And she left. She left her job. The problem comes though, where she wanted to go back to work because she felt like her parents or her mom told her, don't ever let a man take care of you.
This is so good, Dave.
Don't ever. So that it was some like friction there, because somehow she starts to resent me because she feels like, oh, I'm like a homemaker now. And she wasn't raised like that. So she actually went back to work. And that was an educational moment for me. People think, oh, well, you make some money, retire your wife, or your wife makes some money, retire your husband, whatever. And that's the way it's supposed to be. But some people feel like that's taking their power.
Yes.
I don't want to sit around all day.
One of my mentors told me that, because I talked to him about it. And he was like, if you try to convince her to leave from work, that'd be the worst decision that you'll ever do, because she will hate you. Because what are you going to give her to do?
Yeah.
And that stuck with me. And I'm like, you know what? She's operating in her purpose.
100%. My wife went back to work. It ain't last long though. She's like, bro, I'm out of here. Because I think we had like a small child at the time, and she tried to like go back to like her independence and all that. She was like, bro, I don't want to do this no more.
Yeah, this ain't it.
And she came home, and now, she pretty much runs the household. And, I love the fact that she's with the kids and things of that nature. But I do love that is a beautiful dynamic. Financially, for your household, do you all set goals, or is there a specific pinnacle that you're trying to get to?
Oh, for sure. So we have, it used to be every Sunday. And listen, Dave, whenever you are it's something about when you the man and the woman is the breadwinner. Not a lot of men gonna relate to this, because we want to be macho men. But listen, I went through a phase where I was like, man, my wife is the breadwinner. I'm working at this warehouse, and she dictating the financial decision. I just have to sit back and respect it. You see what I'm saying? Like,
how'd you feel
as
a man?
Man, I felt so low. I was like, man, like she's doing this, and you gotta, you come in, like I was a sneakerhead back then, right? So you come in the house, and then some cool gray 12s come out. You like, or cool gray 11s. You like, man, I gotta have them J's. But then if I come in the house, I gotta face this. This is real life talk. So I felt so low. I'm like, man, like I'm a man. Then you do not conform to the ways of the world, but you look at how it's supposed to be, in a sense, worldly views. And as a man, it's always something about it whenever the female is a breadwinner. Nowadays, it may be a little bit more accepted, but
there's still that stigma though.
Yeah, it's like it hits you right here in your chest whenever you are your female wife, girlfriend, whoever makes more than you. No man may not admit it confidently, but it's true.
Why does it feel so?
I don't.
Funny
Why
still?
let me ask you that. Why? How would you feel like if your wife was the breadwinner, and then even if she didn't showboat it or boast it like over you, she just never said anything about it, but like it's in your head. She might not even be thinking about. How would you feel?
Well, here's the thing, and I've had this conversation before, and I say to myself, man, I would love that, bro, because I'll be at the crib kicking it. I'll be chilling, bro. But I don't know until you're in that situation.
That's true.
You never know until like the roles are reversed.
Mm-hmm.
My checking account gets low,
Mm-hmm.
and I got to go ask my wife for some money. In my mind, I'm saying, man, I'd be cool with that because we're a team, we're a partnership. But you don't know until you're in that situation. I don't know. Now that I think about it,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And a part of me still has that feeling that a man should take care of his wife and take care of the household, and it just feels funny. I don't know what it is, bro. Not trying to disrespect nobody, or I'm just giving my open, transparent feel. It's something that doesn't feel right about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that should even be the case.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Y'all put it in the chat, man. How if there's anybody, even in that situation, a man in that situation, I know some men in that situation, they be like, yo, I'm cool with it.
Mm-hmm.
But are you?
Are you?
You know what I mean? And hopefully this is some inspiration for you to go get your money up. And even a woman in a situation where your man is taking care of you, this should be inspiration for you to go get your money up. Because you never know. You never want your partner. You never. Or let me ask you this.
They're going to be on you for that one.
Let me ask you this. Is it okay to rely on your partner financially, man or woman?
As a man, absolutely not. As a female, I feel like it's because we take on that. Like that's pride for us. I take care of my family. I make sure everything's straight, so on and so forth. And it's easy to. I really don't want to go this route with it, but it's easier for a female to be submissive to the man than for a man to be submissive to the female.
Well, we can't say it's easier because we're in a world where everybody has their own thoughts and ideas and opinions. Absolutely. So somebody's watching this right now. It's not easier.
That is true.
But okay, your daughter is 25 years old. She's marrying a man who has some money, financially literate, and earns income. And your daughter may be financially literate, but doesn't earn any income. And he's saying, yo, you just take care of the crib and all that kind of stuff, and you could be home. What advice are you giving your daughter? Because he could very well it not work out between your daughter and this man, and you haven't instilled in her how to go get her own bag if he leaves.
Mm-hmm. What foundation are you setting up for the kids? So sometimes it's, we both got 3. It's what example are you setting for the kids? Because in that sense, if my granddaughter now sees that, hey, my dad took care of my mother, this is the way that it's supposed to be, you're setting a false narrative. That's the way that it's supposed to be. That's something that is pretty much, it's not obligated upon a man to do that, even though we take pride upon it. So in that case, in that example, if that was my daughter, I wouldn't want my granddaughter seeing that. But if it was my grandson, it's kind of like we're going back and forth, but I want my grandson to say, listen, you see how your father took care of your mother. It would be a situation. You see what I'm saying?
It's a double standard.
It's a double standard. But so what, depending on the next generation is what we set up everything for. So how would you want your daughters to be raised? How would you want your kids to be raised?
But you can't skip over your daughter to consider your granddaughter without fixing the issue with your daughter, if it's an issue.
Right, yeah. So for me, if it was, I wouldn't go for it. I'd be like, man, listen, you still have to understand that you're teaching your daughter, your messaging to your daughter is the same as my wife's message from her parents. Don't let no man take care of you. Get your own money, which could be a toxic way of being, bro. Yeah.
Aren't you supposed to rely on your partner? And there's no answer to this.
Yes,
I'm just trying to entertain the conversation.
Yeah. But see, with me having 3 kings, that's something that I want them to see is like, listen, man, daddy made sure that we had this, that, and the other. Like everything was taken care of. Because you're setting that foundation for, as a man, once again, we take pride in that.
Mm-hmm. You know, one thing I did do, though, as I was structuring my companies, my wife is a percent owner of the companies. So, yes, I'm taking care of my wife,
Mm-hmm.
but I do things like that to make sure she doesn't feel like she has nothing.
Absolutely.
But there are a bunch of men that, well, okay, I'm building this and I'll feed you. Now, it's because essentially that's what I do, right? I just, my wife, she gets a certain salary
Mm-hmm.
and she has her own credit card and things of that nature. And sometimes I do got to say, hey, baby, this month, we're only at the 9th of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Look how much you spent on this card. we shouldn't do that. And that's, she doesn't like snap or nothing like that, but she could be who you were to tell me like we can't, it's for the household. You got to explain everything. This is such a nasty conversation, bro.
Because she responds, say, well, this was for our kids.
Yeah.
And now you feel guilty for even questioning what you spent the money on.
Yeah.
Bro, we talking real now.
We having a conversation. So here's what I would encourage. If it wasn't my wife and she happened to be watching this, and again, we weren't married, I would encourage sis, like, yo, at least learn it,
Mm-hmm.
so you know it. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
especially if y'all a team in your household, understand like your program is not just for men, it's for men and women. And some women they get left in bad situations.
Oh, for sure.
Because they didn't get the information. I'm saying your safety net could be at least the knowledge. So if everything goes awry, you know how to go get some funding. You know how to go get some money. And maybe you've had an idea all the time, and this happens a lot, a woman has an idea, or a man, whatever, but in a situation, a woman has some goals and dreams and some aspirations, but puts it on the back burner because I'm supporting my spouse.
Mm-hmm.
But go get you a little $50,000 card.
Come on, have that foundation set.
Just have that joint. Just have it. You know what I mean? Just fix your own credit. Have it.
Mm-hmm.
Not a just in case the marriage doesn't work out, because you don't want to think like that. But just have it, just in case you need to invest with your
See what I'm saying? What could you? So, a lot of people make this joke in the community, but they say significant others is called a sign if I can't.
Ooh.
Yeah, like they really say that. So guess what? Imagine if both of y'all have income generating activities coming in. Then guess what? Whenever my 0% card come off, I can go and get some funding under your name, and then because we're building an empire together.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's why a lot of people talk about generational wealth. But like, how can you have generational wealth if you don't have the foundation of family?
I like that. And what you're teaching isn't like, yo, hustle culture, like go out and grind. You said keep taking care of the household, but like you can take a few minutes to like look at your profile and like, okay, what do I have a debt? Let's try to pay this stuff off so you can at least build yourself financially. Because if God forbid something does happen, you are armed and you're ready.
Oh man,
to take the reins.
We ready.
Dang, this is a good conversation.
I love it.
Did we miss anything? Is there something that we didn't discuss? We talked about a lot.
Yeah.
Did we miss anything?
I think we hit on the most part with.
We hit a lot, bro.
We hit so much because this wasn't even planned. We were gonna come here and talk about business credit, but we really broke down the internals of like real life talk.
100%. 100%. Yeah, you know we've been here for an hour.
Man,
We've been talking for an hour, bro.
it don't even seem like it, man.
Yo, it was like a roller coaster of everything, bro. Okay. So, Doug, man, I appreciate you coming through because literally every time you come, there's a play for me. So, about to get that mirror, little mirror
we got you.
Amex card. And I realized that I'm spending way too heavy on my platinum card. I need to just change because it's just platinum or gold, whichever system I'm using. So, it doesn't make any sense. That was very educational. But so how can people get in touch with you? How can they work with you?
First thing I want everybody to do is, because I know we talked a lot about profile structure, if everybody can text LIST, the keyword LIST, to 864-721-8750. That's going to be a free PDF talking about how to go and structure with proper comparables. So when you walk into the bank, we look lendable.
Say it one more time.
LIST, LIST, to 864-721-8750. It's going to give them the foundational blueprint just to get everything started, because we don't want to set our profiles up on the foundational credit builders. We want to have solid comparables so we look nice when we walking into the bank. And I teach every Wednesday, either Wednesday or Thursday, I do a free masterclass, and I break down all things personal credit, business credit, and just how to structure and part.
I love it. I love it. So before they even take the masterclass, what should they do? Like, what should they be preparing? You know what I mean? Like, how do you prepare for a class like this?
Listen, just come with an open mind, because while I have a different approach when it comes to credit, which is longevity. We can go and get $10,000, $20,000 limits to start off, but if you want max exposure, if you're talking about developing your family's purchasing power, $250,000 to $300,000 every single year, this is the strategy that we teach. Is like I say, in 2-3 years, you and your significant other, like y'all can go and have access to $1 million in family's purchasing power.
Wow. Love it. Okay. Give your social media one more time, the text number as well, and then close this out with a word of wisdom.
Let's get it. So text LIST to 864-721-8750 at Dub Washington across all social media platforms. And the word of wisdom would be Deuteronomy 8:18. I'm going to make them do their homework on that one, Dave.
Mm-hmm. Come on. Deuteronomy 8:18.
Deuteronomy 8:18. For it is he who gives you the ability to go out and obtain wealth. Like, I can give you all of these gems, but if you don't have the ability to go and create wealth and stay along the path, you see what I'm saying? You're going to crash out. So it's always about having purpose and being in alignment with the higher power, man.
How do you develop the ability if you don't have it already?
Deuteronomy 8:18.
Yeah.
You got to stay off in the word, man.
Yeah. I like that. Man, Dub, I appreciate you, my brother. You're officially a social proof cousin. You just pull up every couple months.
Let's get it.
We have these conversations. But, man, make sure y'all reach out to Dub right now. If you're watching this, send him a DM. Say, y'all, I just saw you on the Social Proof Podcast. If there's any information that inspired you, motivated you, just send him a quick DM like, yo, I appreciate it. If he responds or not, don't worry about that. But he gave you something. It's cool to just give somebody their flowers. You might see it and reply. So make sure you follow Dub as well. Did you put your Instagram on there?
At Dub Washington, yes, sir.
At Dub Washington. Make sure you go check him out. And also, go get you some social proof, meaning go build something really, really big. But I need you to go back to your community and teach them what you learned. It's the only way our community grows. We out of here.